Live from the Grenadian capital, this is the GBN television news. GBN, covering you from the Grenadine Island chain to Brooklyn, New York, via the World Wide Web on www.gbn.gd.
The news headlines is brought to you compliments GUT Credit Union.
As we prepare and remain vigilant amid the coronavirus pandemic, the GUT Credit Union remains committed to serving you and your family in the safest way possible. We have increased the frequency of cleaning and sanitizing all branches and ATMs throughout the day. In an effort to maintain the protocols of social distancing, we encourage you to use the ATMs to conduct simple transactions. For your protection and convenience, our officers are available to conduct business via telephone if needed. As a member, if you are facing financial challenges as a result of the pandemic, please contact us to discuss the range of flexible options available to you. More information can be obtained by calling 440-1354, emailing gutcu@spicile.com, or visiting www.gutcu.com. Together, we can successfully navigate through this time. GUT Credit Union, it's where you belong.
This is the GBN television news for Friday, the 3rd of April 2020. In the headlines, Minister for Health confirms 2 new cases of the coronavirus. Acting Chief Medical Officer pleads for people to adhere to regulations as no parish is safe. Woman who ran away from isolation ward at the General Hospital is COVID-free. In the sports news, Guyana's Verasamy Permaul eyeing a recall to the West Indies senior men's team after recent performances. And in around the globe, 1 more person dies of COVID-19 in Trinidad. Total confirmed cases there now stand at 97. We'll be back with the details.
This is GBN, the nation's news leader. This segment is brought to you by Quartz Grenada Limited.
Despite the situation we now face, one thing is for certain. We will get through this together. As much as we are a part of your community, you are a part of who we are. Let's take care of each other during this time, as we always do. And soon, we know that with the dawn of that new day, all of this will be over, and our land will once again be healed. In the meantime, stay safe. Know that we're here for you. Quartz, bringing value home.
Good evening from the Grenada Broadcasting Network. I'm Kenroy. Baptiste. Top story. Grenada now has 12 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Cherry and Blackman Stephen has this report.
As Grenada's Minister of Health, today, Friday 3rd, 2020, I announced that 2 more laboratory confirmed cases of COVID-19 on mainland Grenada have been diagnosed. This brings our total confirmed cases of COVID-19 to 12. However, there are only 11 cases here on island, since 1 left.
That's Health Minister Nicholas Steele as he updated the nation on the latest standing with confirmed cases of COVID-19 on Friday.
The first new individual is a 73-year-old male who had arrived in Grenada from the United Kingdom with his wife, who is one of the previously tested positive for the virus. The couple had sat within the 6-foot radius of our first case on that March 16th UK flight. The husband became symptomatic on the 31st of March and was tested on April 1st. He has been quarantined since his wife was tested and is being monitored closely.
Minister Steele says healthcare officials have been aggressively engaged in contact tracing, especially of individuals who arrived in Grenada during the period March 16th to the 22nd.
The second individual is a 70-year-old male taxi driver who had interacted with a previously diagnosed case before that case was tested. He was found on March 27th through contact tracing by health officials and placed under quarantine. He started exhibiting symptoms consistent with those of COVID-19 and was subsequently tested on April 1st.
Minister Steele said both cases announced on Friday are stable and exhibiting mild to moderate symptoms. Meanwhile, the minister says that 2 previously announced cases are now in ICU, having developed complications from pneumonia. He said they are in a stable condition. In terms of testing, 45 people in total have been tested, 12 people have tested positive to date, and there are 4 results pending. Minister Steele says health officials continue to rigorously enforce and enhance quarantine and isolation measures, and that several entire households are presently under quarantine. He added that the Royal Grenada Police Force has increased its surveillance mechanisms to rigidly ensure that people are observing the rules.
Anyone who fails to comply is subject to a $10,000 fine and 6 months imprisonment. This includes anyone who visits someone who is under quarantine. Fellow citizens, public trust is crucial in our efforts to beat this disease. So is public cooperation. I cannot say it enough. The curfew is in place for a reason, to help us curb the spread of this deadly disease and save lives.
The 12 confirmed cases of COVID-19 to date are 5 males and 7 females. Cherian Blackman Stephen, GBN News.
Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Francis Martin is once again calling on all Grenadians to adhere to the curfew and stay indoors. The CMO is making this call as Grenada records an additional 2 cases of COVID-19. He says no parish is safe as every community is affected by the virus based on information gained from contact tracing through the Ministry of Health.
Grenada is such a small place that no village in this island is safe from our contact tracing, and that's the fact. We can tell you that every single parish has been impacted by those 10 cases that we have seen so far. So let at no time anyone point finger at any parish or village and think that they are at more risk. The point is none is of more risk than the others.
Well, some members of the public have raised concerns after a female patient who was recently admitted to the isolation ward at the General Hospital left the facility before being discharged by medical personnel. Speaking to GBN News, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Francis Martin, Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Francis Martin, assured the public that the patient was tested and results show she does not have COVID-19 and she's therefore not a danger to the public.
The individual was in isolation, which is a normal procedure we do for patients who are at risk of infectious diseases. That patient does not have a diagnosis of COVID. In fact, that patient's test that was run was negative for COVID. It does not mean that that patient will not get COVID, because that patient is free and may put herself at
complications and had to be rushed to the General Hospital.
Right, that's a patient that was diagnosed, a lab-confirmed diagnosis of COVID. And as the epidemiology of the disease dictates, persons who have comorbid conditions, persons that are elderly age are at increased risk of developing complications of the disease. And this patient has developed one of the complications of pneumonia. And so according to our established protocol, she was admitted to the isolation unit. At the moment, she is what we call oxygen dependent, meaning that she needs oxygen in order for her oxygen saturation to be normal and for her to breathe normal. She does not require mechanical ventilation at this point, but we are prepared in the event that that's needed. But at the moment, she is stable on oxygen.
Over 40 people have been detained in the last 12 hours for breaking the curfew. Rena Pear reports.
On Friday, head of the Community Relations Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force, Superintendent Vanny Cowan, said 44 people will be charged and brought to court for violating the 7-day, 24-hour curfew. 35 of the 44 people were arrested and charged, while 5 await court dates. Superintendent Cowan said all 44 people were arrested between 6 p.m. Wednesday and 6 a.m. Thursday.
44 persons were charged for violating the curfew. 39 of those were arrested and 5 will be taken to court by summons. This increase was largely due to the employment of a drone technology, which now allows us wider capabilities to enforce these regulations. You will appreciate a significant increase in the number of persons arrested over the last 3 days, significantly.
The head of the Community Relations Department identified the parishes in which the arrests were made.
We had 26 from St. George, 26 from St. George, 10 from the Eastern Division, which includes St. David's and St. Andrews, and 3 from the Western Division, which include Guelph, Surtees, Victoria.
This has brought the amount of arrests for the past 4 days to over 70, most of which are related to breaking the curfew. For GBN News, I am Rena Pear reporting.
Effective the 1st of April, the Royal Grenada Police Force announced the deployment of drones to assist the force in apprehending people who disregard the orders of the full lockdown imposed to safeguard against the spread of COVID-19. Head of the Community Relations Department, Superintendent Vanny Cohen, attributed the arrest of most of the 44 lawbreakers to the new surveillance addition, drone technology.
The increase was largely due to the employment of the drone technology, which now allows us wider capabilities to enforce the regulation. 2 days ago, I did inform the media that we are engaging or employing drone capabilities to assist us in our fight in this particular time. We have done so, and it was as a result of employing that technology we've been able to increase the number of arrests that I am now reporting this morning. I indicated in a program last night that we may not be everywhere at every time, but we have the capability now of sitting in the office and having the eyes in the skies to see you where you think you can hide. And that has been largely responsible for us increasing the number of arrests.
All right, so according to the emergency powers legislation, which Grenada used as a guide to enforce the curfew and other regulations for the limited state of emergency, which began on the 25th of March, any person who violates the regulations is liable to a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in prison. You're watching News at 7. Still to come from us. While many of us have much to eat and are somewhat protected from the deadly coronavirus, the homeless remain vulnerable. That story after the break. Stay with us.
Are you looking for generators to rent? Then call Wagiti Generator Rentals. We rent a wide range of generators, 3,000, 6,000, 10,000, also 20,000, 50,000, 75,000, 100,000, and 150,000. We are located in building number 6, Frequente Industrial Park, Grand Anse, St. George. Or give us a call at 444-RENT. That's 444-7368. Wagiti Generator Rentals. We are Grenada's standby power people.
So you're looking for doors and windows that look sophisticated and are very secure? Then St. Louis Metals is your one-stop shop. Our windows and doors make sure your home not only looks great, but is more secure. We manufacture shower enclosures, doors, windows for residential and commercial properties using high-grade material and the latest technology. If you want to save money and improve your home's appearance, you have made the right choice by shopping at St. Louis Metals. For a free quotation, visit us today at the Frequente Industrial Park or call us at 439-6538 or 439-6539.
It's new, innovative and classy, and it cut above the rest. Your one-stop shop for bathtubs, kitchenette, customized doors and windows, and even a new paint job. We also sell quartz and solid surface countertops. At M&N Hardware, we offer best prices, excellent service, efficiency, and reliability. Visit us at Dusty Highway, Grand Anse, St. George, or call telephone number 440-6757. M&N Hardware, from foundation to roof. Let's build together.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Remember to wash your hands to stop the coronavirus. Finish.
This message is brought to you by Mount Pure Mineral Water, silver medalist in the 2020 Berkeley Springs International Water Tasting Competition.
There is currently no vaccine to prevent coronavirus disease 2019 or COVID-19. The best way to prevent illness is to avoid being exposed to the virus. However, everyday preventative actions to help prevent the spread of COVID-19 disease include washing your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Always wash hands with soap and water if hands are visibly dirty. Use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze with a paper napkin, then throw the napkin in the trash. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces using a regular household cleaning spray, a wipe, or paper towel. Eat lots of colored fruits and vegetables to help boost your immune system.
One thing is for certain, we will get through this together. As much as we are a part of your community, you are a part of who we are. Let's take care of each other during this time, as we always do. And soon, we know that with the dawn of that new day, all of this will be over, and our land will once again be healed. In the meantime, stay safe. Know that we're here for you. Courts, bringing value home.
When I need shelter, warmth, security, I know you'll be there. Something in these moments lets me know you care. Maybe the way you shield me, maybe it's your smiles and the way you tell me it's okay to try. Now I'm invincible. I can pack my sack. I can take the long road. 'Cause it's okay to look back if I am scared. I know you're there. Arise, together there's no limit to what we can do. Arise, with no wings, fly. Arise, and we're so high, enjoy the view.
This is Ariza, your financial freedom, your future.
GBN leads, the others follow. This segment is brought to you by Republic Bank.
Republic Bank assures all personal, small business, commercial, and corporate banking customers of our continued support during these uncertain times. We have extended a moratorium on all loans, including mortgages and student loans, for up to 6 months. However, there is an option to opt out of this arrangement only upon request. Late fees on credit cards, loan repayments, and overdrawn accounts are being waived, as well as penalties for early withdrawals of certificate of deposit accounts. These measures will be in place for 6 months. To opt out of the moratorium, please email us at customercare@republicgrenada.com by April 15th, 2020.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
News at 7. While many of us have much to eat and are somewhat protected from the deadly coronavirus, the homeless remain vulnerable. Nomads and destitutes roam the streets daily, searching for a handout from some good Samaritan. The voice of the homeless needs to be heard. Christina John has this report.
In the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 40, Christ says, "Whatever you do to the least of these, my brothers or sisters, you do it for me." With social distances the new normal and a 7-day curfew in effect, what are the homeless to do? On Friday, GBN took its cameras on location to hear from them how they are coping. This young man says he has no place to live and usually received meals from the police, but lately things have changed, forcing him to seek other means of survival.
I live right here.
You don't have a home?
No.
Okay, so tell me, how do you eat every day? How do you get your meals? Where do you get food from?
Beg, I go and beg. Bread and thing alone. And juice alone I get. But I still hungry.
Missionaries of Charity Mother Teresa Gift of Love on St. John Street have been providing a show meal for most of these less fortunate.
In my meal from the nuns, mostly every day. Besides this what going on. Otherwise, nothing working hard, making cooking besides that.
Here's what they know about the virus and what they are doing to protect themselves.
The whole heads will get it. If you do stay away from you, you might get it from me. You might get it from me.
Don't cough and sneeze. Tell me around 6 o'clock, go home to stay inside. Yeah.
One of the sisters who did not wish to appear on camera told GBN in spite of the measures now in place, they still ensure a takeaway meal is served and basic hygiene tips are shared. A few people touched by the gesture have been reaching out to ensure the sisters continue to provide for the homeless. GBN was fortunate to capture a few quick deliveries. Marcel Belmer, whose mission is also to feed the homeless, says the police have been accommodating and have allowed her to feed those in need during the curfew. He is, however, worried about their safety since they are the ones most vulnerable.
I'm very, very concerned, and they are even more vulnerable because when they go to deep where people spit, and they have to use the same hands to eat and so forth. I just trust God in His mercy that He will cover them with His precious blood and He would take care of them. But I think after COVID-19, as citizens, we should strongly advocate for the authority to get some place where we can care for the needy.
Christina John, GBN News.
This to report in the midst of dealing with his domestic responsibilities relative to the impact of COVID-19. Prime Minister and Finance Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell is maintaining his regional and international responsibilities. On Friday, he chaired a special meeting of the Monetary Council of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB. A statement from the Government Information Service says, although the Prime Minister has not been very visible in recent weeks, he has been working steadfastly on refining the economic stimulus package announced in March and holding discussions with regional and international financial institutions as Grenada seeks to cope with the economic impact of the pandemic. At Friday's meeting, the ECCB Monetary Council approved a reduction in the bank's discount rate, which will make millions of dollars in short-term credit available to Grenada and other member states of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. We can tell you too that a communique issued at the end of the meeting explained that the discount rate is one of the monetary policy tools the ECCB has at its disposal to influence credit conditions. This rate, set at 6.5% since 2003, refers to the interest rate the ECCB charges on loans to commercial banks and member governments. At Friday's meeting, the Monetary Council agreed to temporarily reduce the discount rate to 2% to provide what it terms low-cost short-term credit. The decision comes against the backdrop of the bank's recognition of the far-reaching health, economic, as well as fiscal and financial implications of the COVID-19 pandemic. and in the context of the limited fiscal space of ECCB member countries. The Monetary Council also noted the increased credit allocation recently approved by the board. The decision makes an additional $138.1 million available to member governments. The communique further explained that the ECCB provides a credit allocation to its member governments and commercial banks operating in the ECCU at the discount rate. All right. Well, 1 decade ago, the world experienced a global recession. Now, the unexpected entrance of the coronavirus pandemic could be the next economic recession in the making. Standard & Poor's is warning about a triple trouble and dark days ahead. We get more in this report.
Standard & Poor's is warning of darker days for the global economy. According to a report published today titled Global Credit Conditions, Triple Trouble, Virus, Oil Volatility, the organization said measures to stem the coronavirus pandemic have pushed the global economy into recession, and that the sudden economic stop will bring intense credit pressure to bear on borrowers worldwide as slumping cash flows and tight financing conditions weigh on credit worthiness. The report said credit conditions across regions are as gloomy as they've been since at least the great financial crisis more than a year ago. Global head of Standard & Poor's Global Ratings Research, Alexandra Dimitrijevic, said, and I quote, "The pandemic is pressuring the funding environment at a time when earnings for some sectors will plummet under the strain of supply-side disruptions and tanking demand." Unquote. He said, combined with a historic collapse in oil prices and record volatility in the markets, this puts significant pressure on creditworthiness around the world. The report said massive policy responses from central banks and governments around the world will likely soften the blow, particularly with regard to financial market liquidity. The report further states that it is worth noting that the economic damage associated with the outbreak is non-linear. That means, for example, that if containment takes twice as long as expected, the economic damage will be more than twice as bad, and therefore recovery could take longer and be shallower than projected. Blossom Alexis Welsh, GBN News.
All right, time for this evening's GBN I Saw compliments Clear Vision Eye Center.
Tonight's ISAW features video footage of employees at True Blue Bay Resort using the social app TikTok to create videos in light of the coronavirus pandemic. Since the pandemic, social media has been abuzz with TikTok videos as family and friends use the app as part of their indoor family activities. You can send in your photo and video submissions via our social media platforms.
A good eye captures all. GBN ISAW is brought to you by Clear Vision.
You know us, but we knew. You feel at home with every visit. An experienced team offering personalized courtier service and trendy brand name lifestyle products. Rechanging the vision care landscape one customer at a time. Clear Vision Eye Center. People and technology coming together to help you see the world with a clearer vision.
Still ahead from us, GBN takes a look at how some people are coping during the mandatory lockdown. Stay with us.
The public is hereby advised that the offices of Sun General Insurance, St. George's and Grenville would be closed from March 26th until further notice. Should you require assistance, please contact us at the following numbers. On mobiles, 420-2348, 405-8736, 405-8734, or 405-8732. Payments can be made directly to our bank account at any of the CIBC, First Caribbean International Bank outlets.
It's detox time again at Nirvana Natural Health Clinic Detox Center. The festive season is over, so let's start 2020 looking and feeling like a boss with our many body cleansing options. Purchase detox products as low as $50. Purchase detox combo packs as low as $100. Receive 10% off on all in-house colonic irrigation treatments. Take control of your health now. Don't delay. Call us on 231-6642, 418-7115, or 449-7753. We are located in Belmont St. George's, close to the Fall Edge area. These offers are valid from January to March or while stocks last. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic Detox Center. Detox your way to health.
How going on, boy?
Hey, good old things.
Hey, easy.
Yeah.
Boy, in line, boy. Your house looking a real good day.
Boy, it's thanks to the hard-working and professional staff at the Housing Authority of Grenada. They handled me real nice. They did my plan, they did the construction, and I didn't even have to worry about a thing. They were there with me every step of the way, supervising the job, asking me about my concerns, giving me feedback as the house took shape. They were there from start to finish, and even put the keys in the palm of my hand. I give them an A++ for customer service.
Oh, it's people from housing bad, boy.
Boy, not bad. Excellent. If you're thinking about constructing your home, why not consult the Housing Authority of Grenada? You could visit them right down in the Sandino complex, or give them a call, 440-1015 or 440-1016. Or check out their website, hag473.com. They go handle you. They go jog your blocks, they go draw your plan, they go tote your materials. Hey man, where you going? The Housing Authority of Grenada is your choice for affordable housing and a stress-free construction experience.
Tropical shipping is fast and reliable. Always on time, safe and affordable. Friendly staff here to connect you. Tropical worldwide, you must get you. Shop online and you get it on time. Hassle free to meet your deadline. Consolidate any size, any load. With Tropical shipping, so we ship everything. I can't wait to ship with Tropical. I can't wait. No package too big, too small. I cannot wait to ship with Tropical. No package too big, too small. Just ship with Tropical.
Local agents, George F. Huggins and Company, Grenada Limited. Telephone number 440-8787, or visit our website at www.tropical.com. Email us at grenadasales@tropical.com. Tropical Shipping, committed to island life.
So you're looking for doors and windows that look sophisticated and are very secure? Then St. Lou Metals is your one-stop shop. Our windows and doors make sure your home not only looks great, but is more secure. We manufacture shower enclosures, doors, windows for residential and commercial properties using high-grade material and the latest technology. If you want to save money and improve your home's appearance, you have made the right choice by shopping at St. Lou Metals. For a free quotation, visit us today at the Frequente Industrial Park or call us at 439-6538 or 439-6539.
Hello again. Today marks day 4 of the 7-day curfew. The question is, what are some people doing to pass the time? Christina John.
With no one quite clear as to whether the curfew period will be extended, the lockdown has already started having effects on some people. Managing during the crisis is a challenge for this lady, but she is utilizing the time to get some unfinished work done.
We know it's for a better cause, but it's a bit frustrating. But we know we have to do what we have to do. I'm taking advantage of the fact that my husband is home, so he could help me do some little things around the house, inside. And whenever the shop opened today, so there are local farmers who bring little tomatoes and peppers and green fig and stuff, so we could get that to go by. So we eat it local. Financial part is frustrating because then, you know, nothing comes in. And then you still have the bills and the monthly things to pay. But we know it's for a better cause. And I pray that the people would at least adhere and obey and do what they have to do.
One elderly woman thinks it was a good move the Prime Minister made to institute this stay-at-home measure. She says she is doing her part to protect herself and her family.
He's so good and he's so kind to allow us to get away from the sickness, asking us to stay inside to protect ourselves. He didn't have to do that. All of us could have go down the road and fall down and dead just the same. But he protects us by letting us stay inside. Wash my hands and I make sure I don't go about touching different things and going in tongue and lime and those kind of things. They say don't do it. I'm not doing it, right? And this neighbor of mine by the name of Oma, she always call me and talk to me.
Here's what some of the men say they are doing with the time and their measures for keeping safe.
To obey the rules. You say stay inside and try to stay inside.
With my family, we just sit down, enjoy each other's company, play cards, jokes, watch shows. There was a movie they have for each other's life and whatnot. You don't take it for granted and you need to respect your health and other person next to you, so follow the rules.
I'm feeling good. I'm glad for the rest. I feel good. You see, well, we inside. I ain't going to say that. Don't tell me to go say you're not going to feed the dog.
Christelina John, GBN News.
The story to report the Caribbean community CARICOM has developed a regional response mechanism framework that deals with food and nutrition security in the context of COVID-19. Here's what we can tell you. 5 main pillars are the foundation for the regional food and nutrition security framework, which includes private sector engagement, regional coordination, effective communication strategy, the promotion of local production and mitigation methods. Here at home, food security concerns continue to be debated, with many fearful that the local supermarkets will run out of imported and local produce as COVID-19 spreads. Jared Joseph has been looking at a local and regional perspective.
The Caribbean Community CARICOM has called for immediate actions from member states, such as forming a national COVID-19 food security committee, engaging the private sector on the feasibility of the supply chain, as well as engaging farmers and producer organizations to promote local production. Program Manager for Agricultural and Agro-Industrial Development, Sean Barth, says local governments were also asked to have different incentive systems in place to promote local production. These were some of the outcomes of the special meeting of the Council for Trade and Economic Development quoted on agriculture that focused on food security in the face of COVID-19, in which Grenada participated.
You would imagine it's, as I said before, it's a fluid position where as things happen, we are trying to anticipate, and in some cases, we try to see how we can react. Because it's fluid, so we anticipate, we're putting models together to see how we can respond to accordingly.
Mr. Barth adds that regionally, there will be adequate amounts of food, while also identifying the temporary glut to be experienced with the fallout of the tourism industry. In an exclusive with GBN, Senator Dunstan Campbell had made a clarion call to farmers to seriously tackle food security.
The first thing I would say to farmers, this is an opportunity for you to get together and form yourself into an organization or into a group. Now, I have been to the other consultation, like the business consultation and so on, and those guys are prepared. They know what to ask for, how much to ask for, and all these things like that. So it is easier to work with a group like that. We need to get together in a group so that when a situation like this comes up, or other situations, it doesn't have to be a crisis, that we can approach with our statistics, with our clear solutions. This is what we want. So this is, I think, the most critical thing for the farming population right now is this.
Meanwhile, Director of Research and Development, Dr. Malachi Dartin, says the Ministry of Agriculture has established an internal planning committee to prepare a national operational plan for the agri-food sector in response to COVID-19. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
All right. With respect to quarantine, GBN posed a question to our followers. What is your view on the Ministry of Health's decision to self-quarantine people who tested positive for COVID-19? Here are some of the views expressed by our followers. The response from this follower says, self-isolation makes a lot of sense. However, the individual believes that a healthy person within the home should be trained on how to deal with that patient. Another follower is of the view that individuals coming in from COVID-19 hotspots should immediately go into a 14-day quarantine. This follower says it was the worst decision the Ministry of Health could have done. Follower believes that there will be many more cases if the Ministry of Health continues to be careless. All right, keep following us on GBN Television Facebook page. Thank you so much for your feedback. Stay with us. The weather is next.
Ofio.com. Sale. All the outlets, hotspot outlets. You're going to go to the Carnage, the Grenville, or the Sutter's hotspot, and you get sales and deals on all items. You can get these on potato, you can get these on saltfish, onion, garlic, mackerel, toilet paper, and we even have the currants and the raisin at $10 per pound, lowest price island-wide. So people just come down or go up or go across, but just make sure and go to hotspots.
And so it begins, a journey like no other. Jungles so lush, they make emeralds jealous. Water that sparkles like diamonds. Mountains with more facets than precious gems. This is where good times are had, where love is strengthened, where memories are formed. And when it all comes to an end, bring home something that will never fade. Colombian Emeralds International. Bring home more than a memory.
Esplanade Mall St. George's, Maurice Bishop International Airport, and Sandals Grenada Resort. Telephone number 230-1023.
Color and life with energy waiting to just burst out. That youthful vibe. Or are you a classic? You love the old school, but you still know how to keep it relevant. Kinda like a retro mix. Nah? Hey, maybe you're just refined. A fine, classy, chic piece of refined elegance. No matter who you are, Sissons has that outside color to match that inside feeling. Visit any of our retail or distribution outlets and ask for our tropical modern color collection. Sissons, good looks that lasts.
Keeping an eye on the weather, this is GBN. We've got you covered.
Weather for Grenada, Carriacou and PT Martinique valid for tonight and the following 3 days. Weather tonight mostly fair. Tonight's minimum temperature 23 degrees Celsius. Wind easterly to east-southeasterly at 8 to 18 miles per hour. Seas slight to moderate. Waves 3 to 5 feet in open water. Tides low at 6:38 p.m., high at 10:25 a.m. All right, sunrise tomorrow morning, 6:03. The weather on Saturday, the 4th day of April, fair and sunny. On Sunday, the 5th, fair to partly cloudy and hazy. And on Monday, the 6th, fair to partly cloudy and hazy. Stay with us for the sports news coming up next. Hello sporting fans. First off, Guyana Jaguars spinner Verasamy Permaul is hopeful that his success with the ball this past season of the West Indies Championships will get him recalled to the West Indies team for the first time in almost 5 years. The 30-year-old slow left-arm orthodox spinner has played 6 tests for the West Indies after making his debut against Bangladesh in November 2012. But he last played for the West Indies in June 2015 against Australia, having taken 18 wickets in his short test career. However, with 50 wickets under his belt this past season at 12.98 per wicket, Permaul is hopeful that he has nudged the selectors once more. Meanwhile, Guyana's Verasamy Permaul was easily the most successful bowler during the West Indies Championships. The 30-year-old slow left-arm orthodox spinner took 50 wickets at 12.98 to finish the truncated season with 14 wickets more than the pair Holder and Hussain, who had 36 wickets each. Holder, the 22-year-old Barbadian pace bowler, took his 36 wickets at a healthy average of 18.91, while Hussain, 26, took his wickets at an excellent 20.61. Preston McSween, the 24-year-old left-arm fast-medium bowler from Grenada, was ranked 4th in the bowling rankings with 31 wickets at an average of 22.77. However, while all 4 bowlers took their wickets in 8 matches, veteran West Indies and Barbados quick Kemar Roche took his 30 wickets from just 5 matches at an average of 13.70. Finally, in the sports news, Premier League clubs will ask players to take a 30% pay cut in order to protect jobs. As it was announced, the season will not resume until it is safe and appropriate to do so. All clubs have agreed to put the proposed combination of conditional reductions and deferrals to players. The Premier League will give £125 million to the EFL and National League, plus £20 million to the NHS and vulnerable groups. Clubs still intend on completing all league and cup fixtures. The EFL, Women's Super League and Women's Championship have all suspended play without setting a target return date, meaning the entirety of English football is on hold indefinitely. That is the sports news for the moment. In a while, around the globe. All right, time for Around the Globe. Liat will suspend all passenger services for the next 14 days due to the impact of COVID-19. Here's what we can tell you. The airline will only operate charters and cargo flights during this period. Chief Executive Officer of Liat, Julie Reefer-Jones, explained that the imposition of travel bans and border closures had ground travel, regional travel, to a halt. She stated that they have tried to maintain a limited schedule. However, the present conditions make this impossible. She said as a result, the company has implemented a temporary suspension of passenger services from the 4th of April for a period of 14 days in the first instance. We can tell you the suspension will be reviewed after the first 14 days. Well, another person has died of COVID-19 in Trinidad and Tobago, bringing the total number of deaths there from the disease so far to 6. A release from the Ministry of Health said that further epidemiological investigation into the case is required, as information was not available from the patient due to his need for immediate emergency care. In addition to this, 3 additional COVID-19 cases were confirmed on Friday, bringing the number of confirmed cases to 97. We can tell you two of the newly confirmed cases had a recent history of travel, while the third is still pending epidemiological investigation. This other one to report: the death toll from COVID-19 is increasing at a devastating pace in New York. The number of people who lost their lives has nearly doubled in just 3 days, from 1,550 on Tuesday to 2,935 on Friday. Governor Andrew Cuomo said on Friday that more people in the U.S. state died from the virus in the last 24 hours, 562, than in the first 27 days of March. There are now 102,863 confirmed cases across New York, with New York City alone accounting for more than 57,000 cases. We can tell you too that Cuomo is planning to issue an executive order on letting the state seize and redistribute ventilators from hospitals and companies that don't need them to deal with the virus. Stay with us. A reminder of the headlines after this. If you're just tuning into the news, a reminder of the headlines. Minister for Health Nicholas Steele confirms 2 new cases of the coronavirus in Grenada. Acting Chief Medical Officer pleads for people to adhere to regulations as no parish is safe. Woman who ran away from isolation ward at the General Hospital is COVID-19 free. In the sports news, Guyana's Verasamy Permaul eyeing a recall to the West Indies senior men's team after recent performances. And in Around the Globe, 1 more person dies of COVID-19 in Trinidad. Total confirmed cases there now stand at 97. All right, that's all from us in the GBN newsroom for the time being. I'm Kenroy, Baptiste. Thanks for watching. Please take care. Yeah? Good night.
The following is a COVID-19 update statement by Minister for Health, Social Security and International Business, the Honorable Nicholas Steele.
Fellow citizens, good day. As Grenada's Minister of Health, today, Friday 3rd, 2020, I announced that 2 more laboratory-confirmed cases of COVID-19 on mainland Grenada have been diagnosed. This brings our total confirmed cases of COVID-19 to 12. However, there are only 11 cases here on island, since 1 left. The first new individual is a 73-year-old male who had arrived in Grenada from the United Kingdom with his wife, who is one of the previously tested positive for the virus. The couple had sat within the 6-foot radius of our first case on that March 16th UK flight. The husband became symptomatic on the 31st of March and was tested on April 1st. He has been quarantined since his wife was tested and is being monitored closely. The second individual is a 70-year-old male taxi driver who had interacted with a previously diagnosed case before that case was tested. He was found on March 27th through contact tracing by health officials and placed under quarantine. He started exhibiting symptoms consistent with those of COVID-19 and was subsequently tested on April 1st. I want to reassure the healthcare officials that healthcare officials have been aggressively engaged in contact tracing, especially of individuals who arrived in Grenada during March 16th to 22nd. We have found that most of our cases so far arrived in Grenada or are linked to someone who arrived in Grenada during that period. The pattern is similar in several other countries throughout the region. Both cases announced today are stable and exhibiting mild to moderate symptoms. However, I must add that 2 of our previously announced cases are now in the ICU, having developed complications from pneumonia. They are in stable condition, though. In terms of testing, 45 people in total have been tested. 12 people have tested positive to date, and there are 4 results pending. All cases have been reported to the World Health Organization and the Pan American Health Organization. I have constantly stated that our healthcare team is sparing no effort in ascertaining the possibility of community spread here in the state of Grenada, because while all cases so far have been imported or import-related, several of those have had significant movement in the community, and we are following up with every possible contact. We continue to rigorously enforce and enhance quarantine and isolation measures. Several entire households are presently under quarantine, and the RGPF has increased their surveillance mechanisms to rigidly ensure that people are observing the rules. We are assured that all individuals currently under quarantine are being closely monitored and are fully compliant. I remind you that any individual who attempts to or breaches the Quarantine Act will be forcibly quarantined in public facilities, which we have already secured around the Tri-Island state. Furthermore, anyone who fails to comply is subject to a $10,000 fine and 6 months imprisonment. This includes anyone who visits someone who is under quarantine. Fellow citizens, public trust is crucial in our efforts to beat this disease. So is public cooperation. I cannot say it enough. The curfew is in place for a reason, to help us curb the spread of this deadly disease and save lives. While we have allowed limited grocery shopping and other access to services, we continue to see serious breaches of social distancing and the curfew in general. while law enforcement has been quite active and have made several arrests so far, the law breaking is enough to infect an entire nation and possibly cost lives. Every time you allow someone into your vehicle, every time you leave your house, every time you allow someone into your house, your life is in danger. Our lives are all in danger. Every time you stand in line at a grocery store and do not comply with the 6-foot social distancing guideline, your life is in danger. Please remember, anyone can have and spread the disease, even if they do not have any visible symptoms. A significant percentage of people carrying the disease in the world do not show any symptoms, but they can still spread the disease. They can still kill you and me. So the next time you crowd the lines at the grocery store, look at the guy in front of you. Look at the lady behind you. It is very likely or possible that one or both can have the disease and are in the process of transmitting it to you and others. It is also highly likely that you are the one with the disease but are not exhibiting symptoms, and you can pass it on to others every time you expose or you are exposed to them. You might be responsible for taking someone's life. Think about that. Think about that the next time you break the curfew to get a drink or go out to get some potatoes. Fellow citizens, while health officials remain vigilant, we continue to ask you to work with us. More specifically, to do your part to help to contain the spread of this deadly virus. We urge the public to report to or inform the Ministry of Health or nearest health facility of any individual displaying acute respiratory symptoms. If you believe you are exhibiting symptoms of the virus, do not leave your house. Do not take public transportation. Do not go into any hospital or medical facility. Call the health hotline at 538-4787 or 458-4787. As the Minister of Health, I am compelled once again to remind you that the entire population must continue to observe the practices and precautions necessary to contain the spread of COVID-19 here in the state of Grenada. A state of emergency is in place to safeguard the population. This is a public health safety emergency. Failure to comply with those measures is potentially fatal to the general population and is being enforced to the fullest extent of the law. Please observe the curfew. Stay home unless there is a medical or food emergency. Stay home unless there is a medical or food emergency, or you are an essential worker. Every time our men and women in uniform are called out to enforce social compliance, those who break the law are putting the lives of the armed forces and medical personnel at further risk. I again urge you to wash your hands frequently, practice proper cough and sneeze hygiene, do not touch your eyes, nose, or mouth with unclean hands. It is extremely critical that you also maintain social distancing of at least 6 feet. I cannot stress that enough. In recent days, due to the developing data on the virus, experts are increasingly urging everyone to wear masks when out in public. Masks and other personal protective equipment are constantly being sourced and provided to all frontline workers to limit their exposure to the virus. Make your mask at home if you have not received one. Use a handkerchief. Cover your nose and mouth in any way possible when you leave the house. This will allow you to protect yourself and allow you to ensure that if perchance you are not one of those infected or you are one of those infected, you will not infect others. I want to thank the frontline workers, including our medical and professionals and the Royal Grenada Police Force, for their selfless service in helping to protect Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique from this deadly disease. I also must thank the artists and public figures and media personnel, private entities and volunteers who continue to lend their voices and their influence to help sensitize the population and help enforce compliance. I also want to thank the government and people of Cuba and the People's Republic of China for their assistance to date. I thank our citizens in the diaspora who are constantly sharing information from their respective cities around the world, especially areas hardest hit by the virus. They are sharing the information to help us see how deadly our actions can be if we do not comply with guidelines. I thank them for this service in helping to preserve the future of this nation. I also extend a hand in solidarity to all our diaspora citizens in areas hit by the virus and urge you to stay as safe as possible, in the same way that I remind our citizens here at home to do the same. Finally, I thank those of you who are complying with our guidelines, rules, and regulations shared by authorities. You are our only hope of beating COVID-19. Help us to hold each other accountable. Help us to save your life. Help to save ours. Help your country to win the battle against this deadly virus. I thank you, and may God bless us all.
The preceding was a COVID-19 update statement by the Minister for Health, Social Security and International Business, the Honorable Nicholas Steele.
It's new, innovative and classy, and it cut above the rest. Your one-stop shop for bathtubs, kitchenette, customized doors and windows, and even a new paint job. We also sell quartz and solid surface countertops. At M&N Hardware, we offer best prices, excellent service, efficiency, and reliability. Visit us at Dusty Highway, Grandin, St. George, or call telephone number 440-6757. M&N Hardware, from foundation to roof. Let's build together.
Despite the situation we now face, one thing is for certain. We will get through this together. As much as we are a part of your community, you are a part of who we are. Let's take care of each other during this time, as we always do. And soon, we know that with the dawn of that new day, all of this will be over, and our land will once again be healed. In the meantime, stay safe. Know that we're here for you. Courts, bringing value home.
Opio.com.
Sale, all the outlets, hotspot outlets. You're going to go to the Carnage, the Grenville, or the Sutter's hotspot, and you get sales and deals on all items. You can get these on potato, you can get these on saltfish, onion, garlic, mackerel, toilet paper, and we even have the currants and the raisin at $10 per pound, lowest price island-wide. So people just